Hey y'all, it's Lindsay, and today I'm going to do the pregnancy and motherhood tag. Julie over at A Beautiful Horizon did this video, gosh, it must have been almost a month ago now, and she tagged a whole bunch of people, and I feel very honored that she also included my name on that list. So I wanted to go ahead and answer these questions for y'all. Okay, number one, how old were you when you had your first child? 2010. So I was 26 when I had Caitlin. Number two, what was the hardest thing about being pregnant for 9 months? I strongly dislike being pregnant. I am sick all of the time. I have horrible, like morning sickness that lasts all day for at least like the first, or with Caitlin, it lasted for the first 20 weeks. Yeah, and then after that, it was horrible Braxton Hicks contractions for the remainder of the pregnancy with her. And generally speaking, my body just doesn't do very well while pregnant. So the hardest thing about being pregnant was actually being pregnant. 3, can you think of any good things you enjoyed during those 9 months? I kind of liked the attention. I don't know if that proves me to be a narcissist or what, but I did enjoy the attention, and I did love the fact that every day I would wake up and it was kind of like, oh wow, we're doing this. This is awesome. And even though I feel like crap, I'm super pumped that we get to have the opportunity to raise a tiny human. Number 4, in your opinion, were all the things you heard about childbirth accurate? Not for me. A lot of people had a lot of opinions or a lot of experiences. It wasn't so much opinions as it was their experience. And their experience was 100% their own. My experience was an 84-hour labor with 4.5 hours of pushing that wound up in a C-section. Yeah. So I don't know that that's really normal. And even when we were in the hospital for Caitlin, it wasn't really feeling like it was typical. And I don't want to say normal, like normal good, not normal bad, kind of a spectrum, more like typical versus atypical, I suppose. 5, would you have handled childbirth different if you could redo it? I don't really think so. I think I needed the experience that I got with having Caitlin the way that we had her in order to prepare me for like the fact that my body just does not deliver babies the way that our bodies were designed to deliver babies. So I needed to go through all of that to really solidify the fact that I am just going to have to be a C-section mama. 6, what would be your advice for someone who is about to have a baby? My sister is pregnant right now, and if she wanted to take my advice, I would just tell her, be prepared for any scenario. Hope for the best, but plan for what her consideration of the worst would be. Whenever Jared and I were pregnant with Caitlin, we had the opportunity to go to a bunch of free classes at the hospital we were going to deliver at. And one of those classes was C-section for unplanned C-section deliveries or something like that. It was basically kind of if you wind up having a C-section, here are some things you might want to know. And we fully anticipated having a normal delivery, and that's not what happened. But had we not gone through that class beforehand, I would not have really understood how that process worked or what was going to happen. So definitely be prepared, or at least have some kind of understanding of what might happen if things don't go the way that you want them to go. 7, what has been the hardest thing about being a mom? So I tend to be a very independent person, and I tend to not really need people around me a ton. Like, I really crave independent, quiet time where I can just stare at a wall if I want to and not be questioned about it. And I don't really feel energized once I'm done spending time with a large group of people. And I think that technically qualifies me as an introvert, even though I have a very outgoing personality whenever I'm in a group. And so just constantly being on, like not really having the opportunity to just sit down and stare at a wall for a solid hour and then move on about my day. It's like if I sit down, they know it, and immediately I'm descended upon. 8. What has been the most rewarding thing about being a mom? I think it's just watching my tiny humans grow and change, and just like the tiniest little things. It's nothing big, like whenever they learn to read, because that's kind of a big deal. And whenever they start connecting the dots, like when Caitlin learned to tie her own shoes, it's more like just the tiny little facial expressions you get to see throughout the day whenever something clicks. It's not the thing that clicks, it's like the way they react to the thing clicking. That's really exciting to me. 9. What was the most surprising thing you discovered about being a mom? Just how much I can be so frustrated with their actions, or with like a developmental, like something that's coming but it's not there yet, when they get really whiny and it's like they are about to break through something amazing. It's so surprising to me that I still get very just like about it while trying to maintain composure on the outside. It's surprising to me just how difficult that is for me, even after like almost 8 years of motherhood. Number 10, what was the best memory you have involving your child? Okay, here's another little bit of confession time. I struggle to remember a gazillion things. I struggle so badly because I'm trying to keep track of everybody and everything, and I'm not very good at reflecting on the past. I am much better at looking into the future than I am, reflecting and just pondering on the past. So it's really difficult for me to think of those things. Okay, this is going to sound really weird. We never found out the gender of Caitlin, Molly, or Lauren until delivery. And the most exciting moment with each one of them was their delivery. And it was whenever the doctor pulled them out and Jared got to tell me what they were, like whether they were a girl or a boy. And it was so exciting each time. It was the best feeling that we had 3 girls. And it was just like, it was so great. I mean, with Lauren, I cried because I was so happy she was a girl. I was so terrified of boys. And if you're a boy mom, that is definitely not to disrespect you. I genuinely believe that I am a girl mom, and I rest very comfortably in that. But yeah, we were just so pleased and so thrilled to have 3 girls. So each time that we found out they were girls, that was super, like, the best memory. 11, what was the most exciting milestone? I think it was just exciting to me, the fact that we nursed for so long with each girl, and the fact that Lauren is still going. There are not very many moms in my family that nursed all the way through, and to be an extended breastfeeder, it's like that was just that was exciting to me. Like the fact that that relationship was there between me and each of my girls, and it's still there with Lauren, that I think is the most exciting milestone. Knowing that I didn't have a ton of experience from previous moms in my family, but I was able to develop that relationship with each of my girls and carry it on as long as we could. Well, what is the worst thing your child has ever done? So I think the worst thing that, out of all 3 of the girls, the worst thing that any one of them have ever done, I think, is Molly. She is a very passionate personality, and sometimes that means she can be passionately ugly along with being passionately loving. And she was being watched by one of my friends, and apparently she decided to lash out at my friend and wound up in timeout at her house. So that kind of feels like whenever you're a mom and your kid does something like that, it's just like, oh, they don't do that at home. Or you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so many variables involved in a scenario like that, but it still just makes you feel like, you don't do that at home. Why would you do that somewhere else? And so I feel like that might have been the worst. But, Kate's 7.5, Molly's 4.5, and Lauren is only like not even 10 months. So we haven't really had a lot of time to develop any worst thing. 13, what habit do you wish your child didn't have? Caitlin loves to chew her nails, and I wish she wouldn't do that, but I also tend to chew on my fingernails too, so she comes by it honestly, and I think the reason why I wish she didn't have that habit is because it's a direct reflection of me and my habit. Molly. I wish she didn't have the habit of mimicking the attitudes of those she's just recently spent time with, like friend-wise. A lot of her friends are adorable, precious, tiny humans, but you know, just like every human, they each have their own little like flair, and there are certain attributes that I wish she would not imitate. Not because they're bad, but because they're not her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want her to become so much of an imitator and a follower that she never knows who she is. And Lauren, she didn't really have any habits yet. She's a baby. 14, what habit of theirs makes you really, really proud? Okay, I am very proud of the fact that if I add on a specific chore and I coach them through it for a few weeks, then they just start to know that that's their responsibility or that's expected of them, and they do it. So I'm really, really proud of the fact that they are teachable. And I guess that's more of a character trait than a habit. But, you know, things like unloading the dishwasher, folding their laundry, putting their clothes away, making their beds, just getting ready for the day, all of those things are habits that they have been taught to do. So they're teachable, or their teachability is really what I happen to be most proud of. 15, do you share any similarities with your child, both physically and personality-wise? So everybody tells me Lauren is my mini-me. And same way with Molly. Molly's passion is 100% me. And the fact that she's an extremist, she goes from one extreme to the next, like in a nanosecond. So that's 100% me for personality-wise. Caitlin is very methodical and very intelligent. I don't want to toot my own horn, I guess, but I feel like I've always been like a really good student, and she's a very good student. So I feel like personality-wise, that's really something. But Jared's intelligent, like very intelligent as well. So I feel like that's kind of a draw. If I were to show you a picture of me around the age of like 5 or so, I look a lot like Caitlin, or Caitlin looks a lot like me. I feel like with Lauren is just like the funny one. I feel like I think I'm funny. So I guess I think that's her personality that reminds me of me. 16, where would you like your child to be in 10 years? With Caitlin, I want her to, in 10 years, she will be a senior in high school, like will hopefully still be homeschooling, but she'll be a senior, and I want her to have the character to be able to stand up for herself, do what she knows to be is right, and still know how to, or still understand how to get along with other people and how to be a part of a community while still being an individual. Molly will be 15 almost, so she'll be working on driving, and heaven help us if she makes it that far. At age 15, I want her to be able to clearly express her emotions and understand how to deliver those feelings and thoughts in a way that others can receive them. Not as a way to like dampen her personality, but as a way to connect with other people without shutting them down completely. And Lauren, she'll be almost 11 in 10 years. I don't know. Where do you want your kid to be at 11? I want her to be innocent. That's what I want for her. Oh, I want that for all 3 of my girls. Yeah. 17, what is something having a child has taught you? Having a child has taught me how to negotiate a little bit better in a way that's not a negotiation, but makes them feel like it's a negotiation. 18, did you imagine you'd be a mom at the age you became a mom? Nope. I never really thought about being a mom until Jared and I had been married for about a year and a half or so, and then it was like an intense need to be a mom right then and there. And it took a couple of years for us to get pregnant with Caitlin. 19, describe your child in a single sentence. Caitlin is reserved, diligent, responsible, and has a quirky side that is really cute and funny. Molly, I can only describe her in one word, and that's passionate, because that swings both ways. And then Lauren's just the baby. We don't really quite know much about Lauren yet. And 20, how have you changed as a person since becoming a mom? I have developed more of a servant's heart. As a Christian, we're called to serve, right? And within the first couple of years of marriage, I realized that I didn't have a servant's heart or attitude. As years progressed and as I was convicted more and more, I have learned to become more servant-like. I would not say I'm good at it. I say it's still something that I'm trying to practice every single day through through the leading of the Spirit. Becoming a mom has really amplified the need to be a servant and to have a servant's heart. And so I'd say that's probably how I've changed most. And now we've got logging trucks driving by. All right, that was the end of the tag. I really, really hope that all of the ambient noise can be blocked out in post. I want to thank Julie so much for adding my name to her tag list. I really appreciate it, Julie. Thank you so much. And I want to tag Stacy from Stacy's Mommy Magic to do this. I want to tag Katie over at Memories Embraced by Katie. And I want to tag Amy over at Alaskan Mama Vlogger. And yeah, I hope you check out Julie's video. I will try to remember to link it in an iCard. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye. Can you all hear these cattle? They're rotating them throughout each of the pastures. And I don't know if they're like trying to separate the babies from the mamas, but they usually get real loud, like real loud this time of year.